To marry the king, a 60-year-old woman glued her wrinkles to pretend to be a young girl.
Welcome back to Fox Recaps.
That's
Today,
not
I'm
Harry
going
Potter?
to explain the movie
What the flip
Tale
is
of
that?
Tales, released in the year 2015. The film is divided into 3 narratives. The first narrative centers around the king and queen of a kingdom named Long Trellis.
Okay.
At first, it seems as if the couple is living a happy life, but later we get to know that the queen is suffering from a rare medical condition which will
Erectile
never
dysfunction?
allow her to become a mother.
Oh, her erectile is dysfunction, bro. Dang. Hey, I'm live on Twitch every single Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Link is in the description. I better see you there.
Because of this, the queen is always upset. Seeing his wife in this state, the king summons the best doctors and physicians from all around the realm, but sadly, none of them are able to diagnose the mysterious illness within her. Despite this, the king tries his best to cheer up his queen. One day, he invites some circus performers to the palace. Suddenly, the queen notices that one of the circus performers is expecting a child.
And she's gonna kill him?
As a result, she becomes envious and starts
Oh, womp womp, bro. Golly, you're a queen for goodness sake. Stop yo crying. Before we've
smashing things after entering her chamber. When
What?
the king finds out about this, he pays a visit to her room and vows to go to any extent to solve her problem. Late at night, a strange necromancer arrives at the castle, claiming
Necromancer. Okay, so I don't understand this. Why doesn't someone else get pregnant, right? Like he gets someone else pregnant, right? As the baby is still a fetus, you take that baby out, open her stomach, put the baby in there, take all the things that the baby feeds on out of the woman who originally had the baby, put it in her, just stitch it together, you know, probably give her like some Tylenol just to ease off the pain, and then boom, the baby should be able to get born. And then I solved it.
that he can solve the queen's pregnancy problem. Hearing this, the king reminds him that many people have tried in the past and failed. However,
I'm
the
not trusting the guy
necromancer
who
is
looked like
adamant
this.
that the
His
queen
nose
can
is too
bear a
long.
baby, but it depends on
Scares
how
me.
far the king is willing to go for his queen.
His nose scares
The
me.
king responds, to the last extent. The necromancer reveals that he has years of experience and knows a lot about nature.
Oh yeah?
Furthermore, he says that nature must always be in balance,
Oh,
and
yeah?
that if the king desires a life, he must also sacrifice.
Oh, on some alchemist type shit, on some alchemy type ish. Okay, you have to give up something of equal value. Who would the king give up? To take a life, to give a life. Who would be the first person I give up? Probably Ted. I don't mess with my neighbor Ted, bro. He has this fine gilf who walks with him everywhere he goes. I'm getting pressed. Hold up. Let me get together before I get mad.
One. Despite his weird claims, the king and queen
Ted, if you watching, just know I'm sacrificing you first. Okay?
give him their full support. After this, the necromancer begins describing the process. The king will have to capture a sea monster, whose heart will be used to cure the queen's illness. Then, a pure and unmarried lady will prepare it, which will be eaten by the queen. In this way, the necromancer assures that the queen will become pregnant. Hearing this, the king immediately agrees to hunt down the sea monster and begins the preparations.
Why can't y'all just take a uterus out of another woman since we're doing all this extra nonsense? Why can't you just necromancy a proper uterus, a proper like
The following day, the king sets out on his
a
mission.
functioning uterus?
He finds the creature in one of the rivers. When the monster is sleeping, the king walks into the ocean to attack it. He's eventually successful in slaying the beast, but gets critically injured in the struggle. Soon, he succumbs to his injury slaying the beast, but gets
That's what you died from?
critically.
That's how you died? Do you know how trash you gotta be? First off, that sea beast is trash from getting one stab and dying. One stab and you're gone, and you're a sea beast? You're not a beast to me. But yeah, that could
injured in the
honestly.
struggle. Soon, he succumbs
That
to
could
his
be me.
injuries, but before he does, he removes the creature's heart. The queen then returns to the castle, covering the heart with a cloth.
You said
Later,
F your
a maid
king?
at the castle is found to be unmarried and pure. As a result, she's tasked with preparing the heart. While cooking, she experiences strange sensations and suddenly becomes pregnant. Soon, the queen consumes the heart, and finally, she becomes
Raw?
pregnant. In the next scene, the maid and the queen give birth to their children at the same
So
time.
you said F your
The
husband?
boys look to be the same
Your
age.
husband gave up his life for you just to have a baby and you didn't care.
The queen's son is named Elias, whereas
Ew.
the maid's son is named Jonah. The movie then fast forwards to 16 years, where the children have now become adults. The queen is living a happy life with her son Elias, as she thinks that she's been given a second chance at life. However, the two children who were born on the same day and look like twins are not typical children, as the sea monster is represented by the white tone of their hair.
Okay.
They have a strong friendship and are extremely close to each other. The queen, on the other hand, despises their friendship. She informs her son
because it's a lowly maid's daughter. If I was that maid, while you're sleeping, I'm not to describe how she's about to kill you in your sleep.
As
Just
a
know
prince,
that
he's
wouldn't
not
wake up.
permitted to be friends with the maid's son, Jonah.
Exactly.
Despite this,
That's
Elias
stupid.
ignores his mother and continues to meet with
Yeah.
Jonah. Later, we also get to know that the kids have the capacity to breathe underwater in a unique way. In the next scene, the queen threatens her maid that if she doesn't prevent her son from meeting Elias, she and her kid will be expelled from the country.
See, this is when as the maid, this is ancient times, you know. I would probably find a man who has not been able to perform the art of baby making in a while, and the reason why is because they have this horrible STD. I'm gonna take that same STD, I'm gonna plant my cooch on your face while you sleep. No, I'm gonna plant my cooch on your cooch while you sleep, and now you're gonna be burning for the rest of your life. You want to get mad at me because our sons like each other? We're their friends? Burn. That's just how I feel. Why did I look at chat and someone said I'ma lick it? Like.
Nonetheless, the two seem unconcerned and meet on a regular basis. They cross the line one day when Jonah wears Elias's clothing and goes to the queen. When she discovers the truth, she chooses to exile Jonah from the kingdom.
Dang.
Elias makes an attempt to stop him but fails. Jonah then cuts off a tree with his knife and water starts to flow from there. He tells Elias that as long as the water is clean, he should know that he's alive. And as soon as it becomes red, he should understand that Jonah's life is in jeopardy.
What?
After saying that, he walks away.
What does that
Elias
mean?
checks the water regularly to see if it has turned red.
What does that mean,
One
though?
day, the water turns red and he realizes that something is wrong. In order to find Jonah, he leaves the kingdom.
Why do you care now?
Without notifying his mother.
Oh, you're looking for your son? Oh, womp womp.
After a long search, Elias
Thank you,
finally
Crusader, for
reaches
the
Jonah's
sub.
house. He discovers that Jonah has married a young woman. The people there identify him as Jonah, since they share the same facial features. Then he learns that Jonah had gone to the forest 5 days ago and has not returned since. Elias then goes out in search of Jonah, while the queen grows more concerned about him.
Aww.
Left with no options, she approaches the necromancer again, but he asks the same thing, that if she wants her kid to return, she must make a life sacrifice.
She's gonna sacrifice the
immediately
maid.
accepts this proposal.
She's gonna sacrifice the
Elsewhere,
maid.
Jonah is seen injured inside a cave. A flying creature then strikes and attempts to kill him.
What the flip
After
is
hearing him
that?
scream, Elias locates Jonah and terminates the creature with his sword.
Yay.
However, Elias is unaware that the creature is none other than his own mother. But that
Huh? I mean, at least she sacrificed her life and not the maid, but what are we talking about?
It's what was agreed upon, life for life. In the final scene of the first narrative, Elias ascends to the throne of the kingdom and the story ends.
Why? Where's the mom of the other guy at? What was the time skip? When, like, how long was he away from the place? That's what I want to know, because he got married awfully quick, but it is the olden days. They used to be getting married like that. I remember I was forced to get married at 14.
Following this, we're shown the second narrative. The king and two elderly ladies, Ima and Dora, are the focus of this narrative.
Okay.
The king is an extremely lustful individual who is constantly surrounded by females.
Okay.
He drinks heavily all the time and is yet to locate his queen. With that
Okay.
being said, he possesses the influence and fortune to marry anyone he pleases. Later, we're
You couldn't bear me. I promise you, you won't be able to pull me.
introduced
I'm
to
exotic.
two elderly sisters who reside near the palace. One of them is named Dora and the other is Ima.
Explorer. My
Dora
fault.
is a shrewd and selfish woman, while Ima is straightforward. They hardly leave their house and are also unmarried.
Twin.
It's certain that they will die there alone, yet their voices sound incredibly pleasant and young. One morning, the king hears Dora singing and instantly gets smitten by her voice. As a result, he decides to meet her.
Uh-oh.
Soon, the king approaches their door to get a glance of the woman.
That's like E-sex right there. That's low-key like, but it wasn't E. It was vocal. It was vocal sex. Vocal gasm. The movie Fire? Walker, stop talking. I'm getting hard.
In his head, he thinks that Dora is young and beautiful. When he knocks on the door, the sisters
get
start
catfished.
panicking as they believe the king will get angry if he finds out about their appearance. After thinking for a while, they finally devise a plan and Dora requests the king to come
Oh,
back
this is the one
after
where
a
they
week
wrinkle the
so
skin,
that she
right?
will be more comfortable. In the next
He kissing wooden doors probably covered with the Black Plague.
scene, the sisters strive very hard to make their fingers look young and beautiful. Dora covers her fingers with herbs, but they still look like those of an elderly person.
They do. They
But
look
on
horrible.
the other hand, Emma had put her finger in her mouth for many days, and as a
What?
result, it's looking quite good and young.
What?
Today, a week has passed, and it is the day for the king's visit. When the king arrives there, Dora shows Emma's finger instead of her own. Now the king is not able to hold his emotions and believes that
What type of kinky BS is going on right now? What type of kinky nonsense is happening? She said, wait a week and I'll let you see a finger. I am not waiting no week for no finger. Open the door. I'm the king. I'm saying open the door so I can see you. Not that's why I'm saying open the door. I want to see who I'm talking to. It is 16:32. You think I'm waiting a week just to see you face to face? Like,
he has found the love of his life. However, the sisters become more worried because if the king finds out about their truth, he will most
what a
likely
nice
terminate
finger.
them. After a lot of thinking, Dora proposes a condition. She will sleep with the king only if there is total darkness, and the king agrees. In the next scene,
What?
Emma starts tightening Dora's body with glue so that it may feel like a young girl's
Oh
body.
my
At
god!
midnight, one of the guards from the temple comes to pick
Oh
Dora
my
up
God.
while there's darkness in the palace. The king sleeps with Dora, but in the morning he realizes that he spent the night with an old and ugly lady. Enraged, he orders his guards to throw Dora out of the window. Luckily,
Out the
she
window!
survives the fall.
Out the
In the
window!
jungle, Dora witnesses magic as a
Out
witch
the
arrives there and
window!
finds her. With her powers, the witch changes Dora into a beautiful young lady with long hair.
What is going
The
on?
next
bro?
day, the king visits the jungle for hunting and falls in love with young Dora at first sight. He brings her to his castle and decides to make her the queen. Dora doesn't know how she turned into a young girl, but she remembers her sister Emma. She invites Emma to her wedding, who is still in disbelief about her new appearance. When Emma inquires about how she became young, Dora sarcastically replies that she peeled off her old skin. However, Emma considers it to be true and visits an ironsmith to peel her old skin in exchange for a necklace. The ironsmith appears to be more stupid than Emma. He takes her to the jungle, ties her against a tree, and removes all her skin.
Oh! Oh no! Oh no!
In the next scene, Emma returns to the castle in a fragile state, and she passes away soon. Elsewhere, the magic that turned Dora into a young girl doesn't last long. She starts to grow old as her skin begins to fold. When she realizes that she's turning old, she runs away from the castle. The narrative ends on a sad note as Dora transforms into her older self completely. Following this, we're shown the third narrative,
That was
which is
it?
also about a king. The king is of a weird nature as his queen passed away long ago. He has an unmarried daughter named Violet, whom he has never truly loved. One day, the king sees a parasite insect on his hand which is sucking on his blood.
Oh yeah?
Instead of swatting it away, the strange king just lets it feed on himself. Later, he keeps the parasite in a glass box
Okay, this
and
is
allows it to feed on his
Okay.
blood every day.
What?
As time passes, the insect becomes huge.
We are on a very weird trajectory right now. Very, very weird. I don't understand how we got here. He grew his own parasite. Got it.
On the other hand, Violet, who has grown to be a beautiful young woman, always dreams of a prince. However, the irresponsible king could care less about her as he is always busy with his parasite pet. Unfortunately, one day the parasite becomes ill and dies. This devastates the king, so
No.
he peels its skin off and tells his daughter that the time has come to find a husband for her. He
What?
says that he's going to arrange a competition, and the one who wins it will get to marry her. On hearing this, Violet becomes happy, but also
What?
a little upset as she wanted to find a husband on her own. Despite this, she agrees to the king's decision. Soon, announcements about the competition are
Why
made
did he
throughout
skin
the
the
kingdom.
thing?
The king displays the parasite's skin in his palace and announces that whoever can guess the name of the insect will win. Many people try, but no one can answer correctly.
That's how you're deciding your husband, your daughter's future husband, from your parasite skin, so you can grow another one and have like a field of parasite.
Because that insect has never grown that big and old. Just then, a weird-looking ogre appears in the palace.
What is this?
He also wants to participate in the competition, and the king hesitantly allows him. The ogre then smells the skin and guesses the correct answer. Upon hearing this, a devastated Violet runs away to the roof and attempts to terminate herself. However, the
It's
king
not
calms
funny
her
because this is real life. You know, I think I've seen this story. I think I've seen this happen a few times in my past lives. This is not funny at all.
down by saying that he cannot break his promise. Left with no other choice, Violet finally agrees. In the next scene, the ogre takes Violet far in the mountains where she cries for many days. One day, when he goes out hunting, she sees another lady on a nearby mountain. She begs for help and explains the whole scenario to her. The lady also sympathizes with her and
So the king sold his daughter so he could grow and play with parasites. Who bred with that man? They probably didn't have a choice. Oh no.
promises to come for help. The next day, the lady, along with her family,
A
arrives there
tightrope?
to rescue Violet. While they're crossing over,
There was no
the
smarter
ogre
way?
arrives, but they successfully manage to cut the rope and he falls. Some time later, the ogre finds the family and eliminates them one by one. He
How?
then chases Violet into a cave and begins hugging her. Violet also pretends to care, but the moment he's distracted, she finishes him off with a knife. In the next scene,
Oh, okay, I got it. So you can survive a 100,000 feet fall, but let a knife touch your skin, and now that's too far.
Violet returns to the palace with the ogre's severed head and places it next to everyone. She then says, "This is the husband you chose," and starts crying. The king is also devastated by the sight and falls to his knees. In the final scene,
Why is he
Violet
devastated?
becomes the queen of the kingdom, and the movie ends here.
Ew, okay, that was weak. Womp womp. Like, I would have just killed my dad personally, but you didn't have the balls. Your dad is like half of you.